Radio Zero.
It's Radio Zero with Rick and Rose. May 24th, the day before Star Wars came out in 1977. The Star Wars. Actually, no, that might have been May 22nd. Now I can't remember anymore. One was Return of the Jedi, was either the 25th or the 22nd. And I'm getting it all mixed up because, May the 4th. May the 4th be with you. Oh, that's Star Wars Day. But I used to always remember, and it's not because I'm old. It's because of, whatever. Maybe I could look it up.
We live stream every other Friday at 5 p.m. Central on Facebook on the Radio Zero page and on the Poster Children page, on Twitch at PCJCUSA, and on the Poster Children YouTube channel. You can subscribe to the podcast on Apple, Spotify. Go to radiozero.us. You can patronize us at patreon.com/radiozero. And thank you to new Patreon donor, Michael T.
Oh, thank you. You have like a applause.
I did have some kind of special button for that, but it's been so long, I don't know.
Romper bumpers,
Yeah,
stompers.
good job.
Tell me, tell me, tell me do. Tell me, magic mirror today. Did all of my friends have fun at play?
Michael T.
I don't remember what that's all about.
Wow,
Oh,
key
it just
change.
keeps going. Boy, why do I even have that on there?
Yeah.
I don't know.
We got a heart. I was laughing when I first started this up because, I went to Facebook and then, there was like a little ring around a little flower, little flower. It said live next to it. It was like I was going to it. Oh, I'm already live. And then I went on the Poster Children. Oh, the Poster Children one is that one. And Radio Zero also had like a red ring around it. It's like, alert, alert. You know how they have that, to entice you to click on stuff?
Yeah.
You go, there's like a little icon on your phone, and then there's like a little red. It's always red. There's like a red alert with like a number in it. If the higher the number, your monkey brain is wired to look for the higher number because that means you're better. So you see that, you're like, oh my God. So Lawrence Edward Summer, Larry says hi. Chris Lee Schneberger says, I feel like I should run out and find the ice cream man. Is that what it sounds like for you, Chris? It's for us. You do hear it. And when the windows are always open in the summer, you can hear it. And the kids run out.
I heard an ice cream truck when I was up in Western Springs this week.
All right, yeah.
The ice cream truck man. We don't have to keep. Don't
vamping because you don't have enough material.
No, I'm just saying. I just wanted to mention that I heard an ice cream truck.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's all. Like Chris wants to go get ice cream. Good, Chris. Now I lost my train of thought. Star Wars, Episode 4, Episode 1, did come out May 25th, 1977. We can reminisce about how our moms brought us to see that. My mom brought me to see it, and I refused to look at it. I was in Canada. I refused to look at it the whole time, and she was like, "You'll probably like this." And I remember looking at it right at the end, like Luke Skywalker. I remember, I was like, what was I, 11 or 12 or something? And
yeah, why?
Because I was a lady. Sorry, that was my glasses scraping again.
Sure,
I didn't fart. And I was like,
well, we can't hear you when you do that. You're doing that for the video, but
nobody
can hear you.
I'm looking away and being just pretending like I'm not going to look at the screen. And by the end of it, when Luke Skywalker is going down the turret, I'm just like, oh my God, go Luke! And then he turns off the what's wrong, Luke? You turned off your tracking. Oh, nothing's wrong. And then the little torpedo went into the hole, and I was and the planet blew up. And spoiler alert, sorry. And then I was like, oh my God, I have to see this again. That's when I became sentient. Was like at that end, like 2 hours and 1 minute into Star Wars or something like that. That's when I became a person.
Why did you have to go to Canada to see it?
We were in Canada. So you're like, you talk about this, right? You, like when you're young in the 70s, your dad goes to a convention, and so your mom's got to take care of you somewhere else.
Somewhere else?
My mom,
no,
at
home.
Or at home, but my mom was, we were with him, I think, at the convention.
Oh,
we were
you
in
went
Canada.
to a dental, your dad went to a dental convention
Yeah.
and the family went with. Yeah.
Yeah. Carlin Reed says, in Soviet Russia, ice cream can listen to you. Ice cream van, listen to you. Sorry. Yeah, you see these glasses? These are my actual glasses. I took my contacts off today, and I'm basically, I should just be in bed. I shouldn't be allowed out of bed because I can't see anything. All right.
What do you need to see to talk on Radio Zero?
In front of me?
Oh, the people's comments.
Yeah.
The people.
Star Wars mics. Larry is asking Star Wars mics. What are these mics, Rick? You have a blue one and a pink one. We should switch them.
No,
Oh,
I
yeah,
like
yours
I
is-
like this color.
Yeah, it's mint
You
green.
said pink because of Barbie, and then you apparently did not want a pink mic.
No, pink is. What other colors did they have?
All sorts of colors.
Pink is good.
Yeah.
Okay, Chris.
They're SM58s, but they've been color. I bought color treated color. What do they call it? They call it. There's a name for
Wrapped.
it. Colorways,
Wrapped.
like custom colorways, or I don't know. You can get them spray painted.
And they're Shure microphones. Not a sponsor, but
Yeah, what's interesting is the logo stays on there. I don't know how they do that. So they must have some, way of.
Mine is white. The logo is white on
Ooh,
mine.
wow.
White and pink.
Oh,
So.
I wonder if they. Ooh, do you think they put the logo back on when they paint them?
Yeah.
I mean, because they're not.
course.
It's not. It's through a third party. It's not from Shure.
Well, we can. We have friends at Shure. We can ask.
I just saw one of them yesterday.
Okay. All right. Chris says, I've never understood how the proton torpedo could suddenly plunge down the exhaust port.
It's a movie.
Okay. And then Larry says, Rose is Sith.
It's not real.
Rose is Sith. I'm not Sith.
It's not real.
I'm like, I was to the point, like, I was like, somewhere, on my bucket list is to get some sort of Jedi tattoo. Like, that's how embarrassing this is.
Do Jedis get tattoos?
Yes.
I thought it was forbidden.
No.
Are there tattooed Jedi?
And
In the first movie, the real movie, I'm asking, not in any of this cockamamie
there's only one
universe.
fucking Jedi
Is
in
there
that
any-
movie. There are no Jedis left in that movie.
And he doesn't have a tattoo.
He might. So I have this
might.
tattoo, and then I was talking to my tattoo artist, and talking about it. I was like, "Hey, could you make a what is it called? No, I can't-
Tattoo?
No, the Astro Boy. Could you make an Astro Boy? Have you ever done an Astro Boy tattoo? Because he makes the most beautiful, like cartoon character tattoos. This guy, oh man! So vintage Karma. Not a sponsor, and now I've forgotten my tattoo artist's name is Killian. Yeah. Shout out. But those guys don't even know like what band. Like they're like, you're in a band? What band? And they're like 20 minutes away from Champaign, and I'm like, Poster Children, and they're like, never heard of you.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, good. But anyway, can you make an Astro Boy tattoo? And he's like, yeah, I can. And I was like. And he was like, I can do it right now. And I was like, ooh, I should probably think. So I loved Astro Boy when I was little, 58 years ago or 52 years ago or whatever. I loved it. But I don't know, like the person who made it could be bad or something. So I'd have to do some research into it. Then I watched Dow and I watched Astro Boy, and it was pretty obvious what was going to happen. And then I'm not sure, but I do love. And then Dow was talking to me about the graphic elements of Astro Boy. I was like, it's just another anime, and he's like, no, the eyes are different. You know how they're like wide and tall, and that haircut. You know, he's got the haircut where the hair sticks up, and I'm like, yeah, it is pretty cool. And then when I was talking to the tattoo artist guy, I was like, you know what I'd really like that I've liked my whole life, all 59 years of my life, is Peter Pan. You know, and I was like, man, he was like, oh, I could do a Peter Pan tattoo. And then I was like, man, you know, I was talking to you about it because I know it's Disney. I'm not going to get a Disney tattoo.
Well, Peter Pan,
he's not?
Peter Pan is
oh, good. Okay.
I mean, but it's the Peter Pan design, right? That character that you would get is probably the Disney one.
Yeah, yeah.
Who did the original drawings and the original Peter Pan?
I can't remember. Well, it's upstairs.
You have like the original
you
kind
got
of like
me a book.
Oh yeah, so maybe it does have
maybe I'll go
drawings
look at
in it. Yeah.
Yeah.
But that won't be good.
No, and then
no one will know what it is.
Well, and I was always into Tinkerbell too, but I was mostly into Peter Pan. You know, in fact, back then I was like, man, I wish I could be into Peter Pan, but I have to be into Tinkerbell because I'm a girl. But then Peter Pan was a girl. He was a lady in the TV show, right? And my parents told me that, and then I was like, yes.
Sandy Duncan.
Yeah.
Before that, it was
a lady.
Mary. Oh, I can't remember her name. Yeah, when they showed on TV, they were productions with women. It's always women playing Peter Pan
because he's whatever.
Because you can't have a young boy play that character because it's too much to remember and recite. They just can't act, right? So you need an adult woman to play the part.
Anyway,
because, you can't expect a teenage boy to carry a whole play.
Is that really why I thought he was supposed to be kind of effeminate or something?
Yeah, I think. Well, he's supposed to be a boy, but it's also like, how do you get? Yeah.
How do you solve a problem?
I think it's also that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Okay. But okay. So I'm going to finish my story, and I hope I didn't talk about this on the last Radio Zero. No, because I'm going to forget. So then it occurred to me that a Jedi tattoo would also be Disney, and then I got really depressed.
That's right.
Yeah.
Disney owns everything.
Yeah. But
you can get a Steamboat Willie tattoo, and it's now no longer Disney.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's in the public domain. How about that?
So Larry says here, West Coast Zen mixed with the energies and a plot stolen from Jefferson Airplane. And what is he talking about? What are you talking about, Larry?
The holiday special? No. Jefferson Starship.
Jefferson Airplane. Jefferson Starship. Okay, and then he says Tinkerbell is Walt's best friend. I love when people write here. So yeah, I don't want to go into like.
But if you are going to write something, you have to write it so that we understand it 5 minutes at least, 5
Star
to
Wars.
10 minutes after.
Yeah. He's saying Star Wars is West Coast Zen mixed with the energies.
Oh yeah.
What's the energies? Do you know what that is? Sounds like a hippie thing.
I don't know what he's talking about because it's Hidden Fortress mixed with Dune.
Oh yeah, that's true. Also,
And what's his name? Sorry.
The guy who did the Hidden Fortress?
Flash Gordon.
Oh, Flash Gordon.
It just took me how long was that? 1 minute?
No, it wasn't even a minute.
Okay.
Oh, God, my eye hurts so bad. Okay, so anyway, that's nice, though, that we're talking about Star Wars, because it is the day before it was released back in 1977. And I did watch Dune again. We watched Dune 2 Electric Boogaloo last night and the night before. It took us a couple of nights to get through it.
Yeah. No, it's good we're talking about Star Wars, because I don't think it gets enough attention.
Yeah.
I mean, it's really overlooked.
Kabbalah, or is that how you pronounce that, Larry? Kabbalah, perhaps. Which all comes from any kind of Zen. Oy. Okay. So we don't have to talk about any kind of science fiction anymore. Although I started reading Ringworld again, and I'm Marin did a shit ton of blow back then. Who's Marin?
Mark Maron?
Mark Maron? No, that's not how you spell. You should just be on the show with us, Larry. I can't
to help us understand what you're talking about.
Yeah, it's very.
That sounded really mean. I didn't
Oh
mean
yeah,
it to
yeah,
come out
yeah,
that
yeah.
way.
I didn't.
It just came out that
yeah,
way.
yeah,
Sorry.
Yeah.
And even me saying sorry,
Marin
now I
Coon-
just realized me saying sorry sounded mean too. Sorry.
Marin County.
Oh yeah, Marin County.
Oh,
Marin County.
yeah. Marin County. Okay, all right, cool. Thank you. So let's go to your adventure. Enough about my tattoo. It blows against the empire. That's funny. So you went up to Chicago. You took the train.
I took the train. It was super exciting because I got to go in the business class coach, and I didn't realize it. It's like they just put all of us coach people into business class.
Were there rich
business
people in
class
there
car.
with you?
I don't think so. I think they just let the hoi polloi. The hoi polloi, is that right? Or is that backwards?
I don't know.
The great unwashed.
Yeah.
And literally it was a little weird because it was super classy looking. I felt like I was in first class on an airplane. Big seats, single row of seats on one side. So I had a seat all to myself and a whole aisle between me and the other two people across the aisle. So it was wonderful. And then, I thought, ooh, are these the new cars for Coach? And I thought, I'm going to ride the train all the time. And then when I walked out, it said business class.
You were charged an extra $80 for your $2
but you know what
trip.
was interesting? But I think it's a publicity or like a trick, like to give you like every once in a while they'll give you a free taste of business, and then you can't go back. I was like, on the way back down on the train today, it was fine, and the cars are new also.
Were you in the smoking car?
I wasn't in the smoking car. But I did have there was a retro conductor who was like really yelly and angry, and like there's these old people, probably my age, but they were walking
Probably
like,
younger
first
than
off,
you. Probably in their 40s.
waiting on the platform, and like from a mile away,
Wait,
they're like
in Summit?
Yeah, in
Okay.
Summit. They're rolling their rollers, and I hear the woman yell from like a distance, "Is this Amtrak? Is this it?" And like nobody answers her. I like turn my eyes down, and then like she gets like a half a mile closer and then yells it again. And then people are like, yeah, and they're like, okay, just asking. And then when she got on the train, the conductor is just yelling at her, "No, to the right, to the right." Is just screaming at her, and she's like, and like clonked me with her roller bag, like in the elbow. I was just like, ooh, I hate this person. And then what else did the conductor yell at people about? I can't remember. He was super yelly and angry.
But
it was
you
great.
think that was part of the charm?
Yeah. Oh, it's charming.
Yeah. Okay.
But,
yeah.
The thing is that when I booked my trip, like after a while, this sounds like an ad for Amtrak. I got an email a couple days before I left, and it said you can bid on a business upgrade. So like they're doing a thing now where you can go in and you can say,
you fight against other people?
yeah, you say,
yeah, that'll work.
I'll put in a bid for $10
yeah,
to get a business
Jeez.
class upgrade.
Yeah, because
And-
that pits you against other people.
Yeah, and it's
that's
like,
so smart.
recommended is $18. I'm like, I'm not gonna bid that. But I didn't do that bid, but I didn't have to because I got into business class anyways. Probably because the business car was completely empty on that train, but or nobody bought business tickets. But it was great. I did feel like, although the Wi-Fi, so that was the thing, is the Wi-Fi was great on the way up, but then the Wi-Fi on the way down was not good. Not good at all.
Wait, why on the way up? You mean up to Chicago?
Yes.
Okay.
In the business class car.
Yeah. Do you like, so that same day? I was like, they're unveiling there's a train that goes to like Minnesota.
Yeah, I keep getting emails about the Chicago to
yeah.
Minnesota train.
Yeah. Why would anybody want to go
why
to
would
Minnesota?
you want to do that?
I was
I don't know.
saying
I like
that's-
Minneapolis.
I do. That's exactly what I was. I looked at that. I was like, well, why would I want to go there? It's not Los Angeles and it's not New York. Why would I want to go to Minneapolis? And it's not Austin. Like I would want to go to all those places. We wanted to go to, what was it, Nashville or Memphis? And you can't go there on the train either.
Yeah, like the Nashville train line has been destroyed, and you have to go to St. Louis on the train and then take a bus. They've got a express Greyhound
Go the
from
opposite
St. Louis
direction.
to Nashville.
Yeah,
I was like,
dumb. But I had the same thought. So I was like, why would I want to go to Minneapolis? And then I was talking to the kids about that. I was like, why would I want to go to Minneapolis? And I said, actually, I really like Minneapolis. It's kind of nice.
Yeah.
But I like it when I'm playing a show there. Like, what else?
I don't
do you
know
do?
how much I like it playing a show there now. That last time we did it last spring,
it was
a year.
Terrible.
Yeah, it was,
storm.
and it was a 9-hour drive. That's really far away.
Well, so next time we should take the train.
Minneapolis should be
Gabe
closer.
Daigle, and Larry has one. This is from like 3 minutes ago. Grace Slick record with Jerry on it from '72.
People are making it's just all Bay Area references.
And I've
I
got
guess.
okay. Oh my God, Gabe Daigle writes here. Hello from Baton Rouge. Booked Poster Children at the Bayou, one of our favorite places to play. You guys had some vegan food at the Spanish Moon. It's been a while. Oh my God, do you remember that? That was the night we were driving around and we were like, I can't remember. We were laughing about something.
Oh.
And Spanish Moon, do you remember that?
Well, yeah, because it took us a while to find it, and I was doing a riff on how they were never seen again. It was
That's right. Yeah,
ghost story.
And they were never seen again. It was Poster Children. We disappeared forever. Oh, that's so cool. Something bad's happening in Louisiana politically, right? I forgot about it, but yeah.
What else is new?
Sorry about that.
Isn't that's you could say that, right? For the past
Baton Rouge,
150 years, maybe.
Love Baton Rouge. Thanks for saying hello.
Oh yeah, no, that was a great show.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. Oh, always. Yeah. Okay. So
Wasn't the hottest show? Where was that? That was in Lafayette, right? It was the hottest show, the tin building.
And that
We
never
just talked to
bothers
somebody.
me.
Yeah, it never bothers you
Yeah.
until you black out.
No, I don't
But
care.
yeah. Oh, I don't
It's
care.
good when I black out too.
Yeah.
It's exciting. Other people black out. The one thing I remember about that place, not the Bayou, is like the place in. Wait, where? Huh?
Where are we?
Yeah. The trough.
Is this
the
Radio
trough,
Zero?
The trough.
Oh,
The P trough.
Yeah, that wasn't the That was where
Right.
was that? That
Well,
was
you
in
were just
Lafayette
talking about
too.
Lafayette, Louisiana.
Yeah, but that was different. That was a different place in Lafayette. We played different places. We played Lafayette a couple times, right? Oh no, we played.
Oh, look at Gabe is saying my favorite show was you guys in Jawbox in Lafayette.
Was that
We
the
play
hot
with
show? Was that in the tin? No, that wasn't in the tin building, was it?
We haven't talked to. Okay, Metropolis.
That was the
He's
tin
in-
building, right?
Ooh.
What was the super hot? No, it wasn't.
Maybe.
The super hot building was somebody else, but yeah. It all blurs together. It's one big giant show.
Yeah,
now.
but that was probably a great show, man. When I haven't talked to Jawbox in a while. You know who I talked to? I talked to our friend from Fugazi and the Evens. I talked to that rock star.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I have I have notes from the from the discussion that I had with him. So would you like to hear them?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
First of all, what's going on with you? And what's going on with me is I'm holding a grudge against something that happened at work. I was angry about something, and then why would you do that? You should never hold a grudge. You should never hate. And then I was like, it feels good to hate. It feels good to hate. What the fuck? And then like how I was hurt. Whatever, I was hurt. But yeah, that's not something that one needs to take into them, and one should be more about peace and love. And I know this from that person because he always would say that he'd never leave. Remember him telling us he would never leave a show with bad feelings and stuff, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is Ian Mackay we're talking about, or I'm talking about. And so I had just kind of reminded me of the mission. The mission is to not hate. It's not spread hate.
You're
and I
not
don't know
on.
how I could
Are you sure you're not on a mission of hate?
I might have been, and I needed to stop. That's just.
I just meant in general. I didn't mean specifically.
Yeah, but
I
no,
just
the
wanted
mission
to
is
say
love
mission
and
of hate.
peace. The mission.
But Mission of Hate sounds much cooler. It's a
sounds
much
like-
cooler band name than
Mission of Burma.
of Love and Mission of Love and Peace.
Gabe is saying, "Love you, old guys." Okay. And I'm trying to think of what the other thing was that. Ian also told me I don't know if I'm allowed to share this, but I think this is his riff. I think he calls people and he talks to people.
He
I
works
think
his works on his
circuit.
material.
Yeah. So the other thing is that, and so this is what I wanted to discuss with you. Let me pull up my notes here.
So you're quoting him.
War is a natural disaster.
Interesting. So saying because war is a human
But it's
thing
a natural
and
disaster.
natural.
Can't be stopped. What do you think about that?
Oh, yeah, can't be stopped. Yeah, I mean that was
Well,
oddly I was talking to my mom about this. That she was saying, the Dalai Lama talking about how it's war is or conflict is part of human experience, but I feel like that's kind of saying it's natural in the same way when people say Roundup is natural, right? And I
yeah.
mean, and I mean, this is the thin blue line, right? Not the thin blue line, thin red line, right? That movie is all about that, whether or not it's in our nature to fight, right? Is that human nature, right? That's what that whole movie's about, right?
Yeah,
He's like on that island and thinking about it, and there's lots of narrative about that. I mean,
Right.
it's a philosophical thing. But yeah, I think there is. I think you could say, yeah, it's hard to see a world existing without conflict. But maybe maybe it's just simply a problem with not getting the formula right, and it's just gonna.
You mean the baby formula for when we're being weaned?
So we've moved from, like, it was when I was talking to the younger kid about, like, I was talking about royalty and kings, and he was like, well, who decided that these people ran everything? It's like, and it was an interesting question from a perspective of someone who's existed in a democracy, and I guess I'll put that in quotes, but it's like, yeah, and it was all about power and military might, I guess, and land and families, and so but we evolved, and we have democracy now, and then we have capitalism, and those did help change things, but there's still problems with war and conflict, and so maybe we just need to keep working and refining these systems of human society now that we've jumped from just being animals and total anarchy and dying and killing each other, randomly. Although, yeah, that's the question too, is like how many animals murder other animals or the same species, their own species. And I guess there are plenty, right?
Animals eat their young.
Right. Yeah. So it's,
well, I mean, we have two kids that came out of me and, were made by me and you. And like, they come out and they're like fighting, they fight. So even if brothers can fight, like, people who are not, I mean, it's just a thing that people do, I think.
Let me look it up. What did Jesus have to say about this?
Are you looking it up?
No.
Okay.
So yeah, I guess, but yeah, but that's not war, right? So is war just simply
a natural disaster?
A natural, yeah. Well, I think it isn't. I don't know. Natural
he
disaster.
said it was giving him like solace to think that, just like there's not anything you can do. I think it was more of a there's nothing you can do about it.
It's inevitable.
Yeah.
Part of humanity.
Yeah. And actually
in our nature, it's built in.
Yeah, built into our nature. That's in, not only the thin red line. Oh yeah, it is. Yeah, it is in that. But it's not. Yeah, it's like philosophy 101. Yeah,
right?
yeah. Wait, there was something
it's
else.
Probably why philosophy started. It's
yeah.
Like,
why
do we have to kill each other?
Why are we killing each other? There's probably some reason for it. No, I can't remember. I was going to say something and I can't remember what it was. So, all right, so we got Larry is saying, Darby Slick has been teaching me to finish my sentences. So far, epic fail. And if we can teach each other to enjoy McDonald's, we can teach each other how to live peacefully. War is more profitable. And Moses' song.
Yeah, so that's the thing, is like, so the system, right, it's not quite working. You still have wars. So maybe we just need to keep working on it. Maybe it's not nature. And what if it's nature, right? That's also kind of, I mean, I think you could make that argument. It's like climate change. Oh, well, we're part of nature and we've made this problem, and now that nature is going to have to deal with it. And it's like, okay, that gives me solace. And then what? We just let it all burn, right?
Yeah.
And then we don't do anything.
Well, natural
Or it
like
can't
if
be
you
helped.
think of it more like it's a natural disaster, so it's gonna occur. Maybe that.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
there's
Yeah.
no,
So
like,
so
no-
the idealism, but that's always, it's the utopian argument. It's like utopia is not a goal for completion, right? It's a goal to help you push you towards better things.
Yeah.
And so if you if you decide, oh, war's just going to happen, I feel like, well, then all of the movement and efforts towards eliminating war and conflict will go away if everybody decides that, it's just inevitable. Oh, we got a tornado again. 100,000 people are going to die. 1 million people are going to die. It's inevitable. It happens, right? And so, I mean, I can understand the solace of it, and yeah, maybe it's true, but that's sad.
Yeah. Well. Okay.
I mean, why couldn't we just have? Why don't we just have a bunch of computers decide who needs to die and just have them slaughter people?
That's a movie too, isn't it? Isn't it?
That's the Star Trek.
Yeah. Larry said, if you hand an ape an axe and teach them to use it, but if you hand them a paintbrush, they'll also use it to kill you.
Kill.
Yeah. No, but I mean, I it could be. I don't want to go back to this, but it could be argued that people make trouble even when there's no reason for it. But it's just it is probably in people's nature to not be happy.
Well, then the argument can be is like when you said you like to hate. I mean, and then it's like, what? That's a denial of a real human emotion in your nature.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, it's true. Yeah. I'm trying to think of like a friend of ours, remember, said that some people, they're talking about people who are like used to trauma, like they're just their whole lives are like roller coasters and stuff. And when they get off the roller coaster, then things feel really like dead to them, so they need to stir up more trauma or, more roller coastering and stuff like that. So maybe that's why people, maybe that's why there's war, like the Jews or whatever, and the Hamas and all those people, have been going through so much trauma that like even when there's a lull, then there's got to be a problem, because you just can't kind of sit around and have it calm. And I don't really know what I'm talking about, and I'd rather hear about the Brian Eno documentary. So, like, let's put a pin in that discussion because I have a headache, and it's okay. So you got on the train, you got to go in first class, and I had a
business class, but I don't think there's a first class on the train.
Right.
I guess that would be a custom car, which you can still get. You can still buy a train car, get it kind of all tricked out, and then my brother looked into this, not because he was going to do it, but I remember talking to him about it. He had done a little research on it, and you have your rail car, and then you can schedule, a time to get picked up on one of the rail lines, and then have your private car. It's expensive though.
Yeah, I mean, it's anytime I look into like taking a train to Florida or Los Angeles or something, it's either the exact same price as a flight or it's 3 times more than a flight.
I was just talking about this.
Yeah. 3 times
to somebody,
more.
And I felt like it was like 10 times more because when like $200 for a flight to LA, but like $2,000 for the sleeper car.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
That was the kind of stuff when I was doing the math, and I'd love to go on a sleeper car trip, but it's just impossible financially.
Yeah.
But like getting your own train hooked up, train car hooked up.
It's got to be very expensive.
That's even more expensive.
Yeah.
Add a
maybe
couple
if you
more
work
zeros
at the train,
on.
maybe if you work on the train, you get like a discount. Okay, so what did you do? Did you do a podcast? Who did you see?
I did a different podcast.
Okay, well, tell us about that.
I don't know if I'm still trying to. We need to do some cross promotion. We've been told. Between the podcasts.
Yeah. So tell us about the podcast that you did. No
it's
spoilers, but
it's a podcast called Lost and Found and Rewound.
I love that podcast.
I was a guest on that podcast.
No, you weren't. You're a person on the podcast.
But
you're
it's
wait.
kind of
Let me remember.
semi-
If you're lost, you're not lost. You're not found, because I think that's are you rewound?
I am.
Yeah, you're rewound. Who's lost? It's lost Chris, right? Chris lost.
Yes.
And Jim found.
No.
Found
Jim.
Okay, found Jim. And then you're rewound.
Rick Rewound.
Rick Rewound. Why are you Rick Rewound?
Because I was the third person, and I think it's a secret way to get me to have a problem pronouncing my name
Rick
because
Rewound.
of the 2 R's. Yeah, it's like a tongue twister for me.
Okay. All right. So but is that like part of your like your job on that podcast? Is kind of like, does it talk about your job?
What do you mean?
Rewound, like you.
Oh,
you're
am I
like,
the
you're
rewinder?
are you like the cataloger? Like you're the person who remembers all the things that happened in the movie.
It's possible, but I don't think so. I think it was more that the name came up, and then each became.
You each took a name.
Yeah, it's kind of like the Ramones, except if they had 3 names.
Yeah. Okay. And so, what movie did you do?
I'm not going to tell you that because that's because it won't come out for a while. So that show gets edited, and there's a
that's a professional
pipeline.
Show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I changed my Letterboxd profile to Rick Rewound. I've got some lists on there. Yeah. Maybe I'll follow a couple people instead of just sitting there lurking on Letterboxd.
Your child wrote a review on Civil War and said that you liked it, and he that was like, it was enough for him to mention that. So
I didn't notice that. I saw the review. I was mentioned.
No, he was happy that you.
Oh, I
liked it.
To
me that you liked it.
That I liked it. Yeah. I'm doing good. I'm trying to be more social on the social networks. It's not.
All right. So what are what are the greatest hits of that podcast? Like, what are the best episodes?
I can't.
You're not a very good publicist.
Part of the show is I think the first season, and we just discussed this. We started recording that show 5 years ago.
Wow.
And then because of the pandemic.
Yeah,
it got really weird. And the first season, apparently, which I thought was 3 or 4 seasons, was 12 movies, but then there were another 12 or 14 movies that wound up happening in other episodes. So it got all convoluted. And so part of that is that part of the joke of the show is that none of us can remember the timeline and how things happened and how long ago things were. So that's part of it. But it's got a combination. So it's 3 white guys from Gen X from the southwestern suburbs of Chicago.
This is kind of all the same suburb, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
talking about old like VHS movies, and then also it winds up talking about music and other things, and not being able to remember.
Yeah, genre.
Early onset Alzheimer's, dementia. It's starting to come up a lot. But it works better because the show is edited, so then we don't sound as spacey as like I sound on this podcast. Although today I had a bunch of Dr. Pepper today. And so this is the problem, is I think if I get a lot of sugar and caffeine, so I drink a lot of caffeine, right? I have the espresso and my brain's kind of working, but it's like when I drink the Dr. Pepper, not a sponsor, it's everything starts firing, right? It's like the sugar and the caffeine.
Does your butt start?
No,
firing?
no,
Okay.
and that's
Right.
I don't have that problem
or anything.
No, not yet. Well, no, I've
Yeah.
never. That's never been a problem for me. I have a pretty iron stomach. So yeah, that's the unfortunate thing, is I do feel a little more coherent today, and I think it's because I need massive amounts of sugar and caffeine.
Or you've been gone for 3 days and just sleeping, in your own bed and like.
Now my childhood bed. It was
Yeah.
my tiny bed from when I was a child.
Really?
Actually, a bunk bed. So on the top bunk, and my
Were you-
brother was on the bottom bunk.
No, I don't believe that for a second. I actually almost believe it, but okay. Gabe says, geez.
I don't know what that was.
Larry says, why though? Learned behavior. Okay. So let's
War.
Yeah.
Right? That's
yeah,
about war,
yeah,
probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then did that podcast, hung around. Next day, a pear tree at my mom's house split in half.
That happened while you were there.
Yeah,
Did
and I had my headphones on. I didn't hear it, and my mother heard it, who's got hearing aids and everything like that, and she said it was like a gunshot. She thought in her peaceful little town that someone had been shot. But it was just a giant tree branch breaking. So that was exciting. There's cicadas there. So this is what's weird is like, it's not, and I'd forgotten this, but when there's a huge sort of brood of cicadas, there's the raspy cicada sound, but then there's also the low churring sound, like in the morning and when they're not as.
So you got to hear cicadas?
Oh, yeah. And it's constant. You noticed
that there are none here?
Yeah, and there are none here.
There's never going to be any here.
Yeah, so that was the question is, so we're living in central Illinois here. We're supposed to be right at the boundary line of the two broods that are emerging.
Yeah.
So the one that's emerging.
They said another week, but I don't understand.
Yeah. So, but it's all about temperature, right? Ground temperature. But so I'm starting to think that maybe we're not going to get that much at all because we're at the edge of both broods.
Yeah.
We're like in this middle area. Yeah. And I'm saying that now, and I have a picture of myself waking up tomorrow morning just like smothered, covered in. I
don't know. I haven't seen one even. I haven't seen one.
I thought you said you hit one with the car.
No, I thought I hit one, but it was probably something else.
It was a bird, dog.
Like one of those moths.
Wolf.
There was like a huge moth, right?
Trying to remember the name of that moth. It scared me. Nobody else. Just Rick was scared of the moth.
I wasn't.
Yeah.
But the kids were.
Well, the thing was I had spent at least 10 minutes like in close proximity to that moth without seeing it. Like it was sitting next to our garbage cans, and I'm like dumping stuff in the garbage cans, walking in and out the door, and then I like look over while I'm dumping something in the recycling, and it's just like a 10-foot moth just sitting there, Mothra sitting there.
So you terrible. Heard? So were the cicadas going all day and night?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Not night, right? They don't go.
Oh,
at night,
okay.
do they?
But
there's that. But there's that sound. But there's the other one.
What's the other?
The lower
make
sound.
The sound.
I can't remember. I recorded it, but it's more like a science fiction like hum. It's more like a burble. It's really, really weird, and I totally forgotten about that. That's just them kind of. I think if there are enough of them, you start hearing it. It's just them kind of hanging out.
Wow.
Twitching around. It's like an electric hum, much lower. Ooh, so creepy, and that's constant.
Yeah. Well, I hope I get to hear it. Okay. Well, I'm gonna go to Champaign tomorrow, so maybe there'll be.
Is that farther south? Champaign farther
Champaign
south?
is in the area where there are two broods.
The overlap?
Yeah, it's in the overlap, but
so
we
we're
are
on
not.
The border, the edge.
Yeah. So so you did the podcast.
Yeah.
You hung out with your mom for a while. Did you eat? Did you guys go out to eat?
We didn't go out. We got carry out, and that's what I'm realizing too is food prices, restaurant prices. I hadn't realized it because I think we've been eating at fast food places, and they're getting more expensive. But like regular restaurants, even today, eating at The Rock, it was $15 for a combo, drink, fries, and a falafel sandwich was $15. Yeah,
I'm voting for Trump.
Yeah,
damn Biden. Okay. And so you went out. So you got some food, and then then last night you went to see. Go ahead, tell me what other things you did.
No, went to So Thursday night went to see the Eno documentary at the Music Box Theater, and so this documentary is generative, and I didn't realize, and the director was there, Gary Hustwit. I said his name wrong, I think. The guy who directed Helvetica. Like, it was like when he said his name, and I'd seen his name before, and then he was like, oh yeah, and then Brian Eno did the music for the Dieter Rams documentary I did, and I'm like, wait a minute, and then I finally realized he was the Helvetica guy. Also, though, oddly enough, booked shows in, where did he book shows? Somewhere on the West Coast, and worked at SST for like when he was younger.
Wow.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. seems like an interesting dude. But it's a documentary that's generative, and so when they played it, this was what did he call it? 2.12, I think it was. So he had a little control panel in the back of the room that he was kind of running the film, and it basically there's a huge pool of edited footage, and then there's a beginning scene and an ending scene, and then everything else in the middle is kind of pulled randomly, maybe. I don't know. He said it wasn't random. There's some sort of algorithmic thing to kind of create these narratives and pulling certain scenes, edited scenes. So it's not a complete random hodgepodge generative.
Does everything get played each time the movie?
No.
Okay.
So that was what happened afterwards. So
pretty smart.
so it's a Brian Eno document, and Brian Eno said he agreed to do it because it was this generative thing. And so afterwards he's like going through. Yeah, it's like, oh, and I'm so sad that like for instance, I had talked to him, Brian Eno, about like, is it even okay if there's a documentary about you and then it doesn't mention Roxy music? And it was like, oh yeah, today there was barely any Roxy music stuff. Like the whole Roxy music section didn't show up.
So you have to go see it again.
Yeah. And then what was the other one that everybody was just like really bummed out? He mentioned another scene. Oh, there's this whole thing about this stuff, and everybody was like, oh, they were like really mad. I wish I could remember what it was, but it was funny. It was like he started kind of ruining it in a way. And then, somebody asked, oh, well, so what, was this a good one? And he said, yeah, this was a good one. And then everybody started laughing. It was like, and he said he's gotten more and more, the director's gotten more and more excited every time he watches it, because as opposed to usually when you're, doing these premieres and festivals and stuff, for a film is like you start getting really, really tired.
You get tired because it's the same thing, and
Yeah.
you're like, oh, nobody's going to laugh at this part or whatever.
Yeah.
Or, this part always makes me.
And he
so
said
it's different every time.
He's been feeding in. He's been feeding in more scenes. It's like he's got more stuff, and he's put it into the program, right?
That's cool.
And it's the 2.0 version, or the 2 version, and so there's a 3.0 that's coming out. They're reworking the whole algorithm. Right, program to run the film.
The use of the word generative upsets me for this, but I understand that it's generating the entirety of it's generating the way it's put together.
And there's some like interim moments that are generated, right? So he said, so they're like these kind of like dreamlike where there's some talking, and then there are these abstract kind of shapes and things happening, and that's generated in certain places
not AI.
in the film. Yeah, and people asked about AI, and he said it's not. Well, he didn't say it's not AI, but he said this isn't like somebody making a movie with artificial intelligence. This is
So basically, it's not generative.
Sculpted. So the battle was they had the artist programmer that works with Eno, and then he had his editors, and the director was in the middle. The programmer artist was like, random. It should be all random. And Brian Eno was like, everything should be random. It's just like pulling, random things and clotting it together. Yeah. And it was like, they tried that and it was like awful, right? It was just a total abstract kind of weird bouncy thing. And then the editors were all about, no, we've got to totally cut this together, and you've got to have a spine to everything, and then, pop things in. And so it's in between that. So things, he said, and it's proprietary. He wouldn't talk about how decisions are being made. He said there's a certain point with oblique strategies, and it's, that was one of the things is like, so David Byrne picked an oblique strategies card and read it, and he said, the director said later that there were 6 of those, and then 6 of Laurie Anderson picking a card, and that whenever one of those, whichever one of those shows up, then the second half of the film or the next part of the film goes in a specific direction based on that oblique strategies card. So it's structured stuff. It's kind of like, not to promote my own little tiny thing, but when I did that music project that had the 100 different versions, I had some structure to it, right? So there's randomness involved, but you can't be just completely random because it's crappy. But the end result was the problem is that the end result of the film is that was the whole thing. Is Brian Eno's like, I hate rock documentaries, and it was like, okay, if we're doing this generative thing, I'll do it, right? Because all rock documentaries are the same, and all all, career retrospective documentaries. And the end result of this was kind of like
rock documentary.
Yeah, it was not super, and it wasn't a rock documentary because it also talked about his artwork and all these things, and his
That's
a little bit of his family showed up and life, and so it was good, but it did, like, if you just watched it, you wouldn't go, oh, I've just seen a revolution, right, in filmmaking. It would be, oh, you see it a bunch of times, and then you start noticing the patterns and seeing how it's different. And that would be where it comes in. So yeah, it was interesting. And then the director said he's got a startup and they're developing the software and they're trying to get directors. They're going to market it and try to get directors to start using it to do generative films. And he said, like, his dream is, Christopher Nolan, his next movie.
Yeah.
Because Christopher Nolan does all that time-based stuff anyways, and it's like, make it generative. But that's the problem, is that. And this, we all know this, right? Who've done, kind of computer-based artwork, right? That uses randomness and everything like that.
Yeah.
Is that trying to do narratives, right? It's like you can do your choose your own adventure kind of thing. Mm-hmm. But if you try to building a, dynamic system that generates engaging narratives.
I'm going to say that with the help of AI,
mm-hmm.
we will be able to do that.
So that's actually, So then where you have the machine deciding, does this make sense?
Yeah.
Will this be engaging?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, you're
or
right.
Even putting together the beginnings and end points of it, even actually generating the beginnings and end points of it.
Yeah.
So that
I don't think, as far as I can tell, the system that they have is not that, because if you think about it, you can do a documentary, a biography of someone where you're kind of showing. I mean, we're already attuned to that. Like, we don't need documentaries that go through the person's life in linear order, right? That we see that a lot now, where you see these.
That's
profiles
what I was going to ask you. What the
it.
spine was? If it's time based, then. But anyway,
I should have been paying attention more.
Yeah.
But it
There's, maybe things are tagged that they could be earlier, and other things are tagged that they could be later, and
And so part of my problem is that I know most of the historical stuff. Like, I'm enough of a nerd, and so what was interesting was the kind of contemporary interviews where he's talking and working in his space and talking about stuff from the present, because there are patterns, and you can see him saying the same things over the course of decades, but then some of it is just, this is what he's doing right now. Like, so for instance, last year he didn't eat breakfast for a whole year, because he had found that, like, for breakfast he was sitting preparing breakfast and then answering email and reading the news and everything like that. And so his whole day started, and he basically launched his day with this kind of mess in his head. And so he was talking about how he was in the middle of it. So this footage must have been filmed in like the summer of last year. And he's just like, so yeah, I've been skipping breakfast, and now I just go into the studio and I just start cleaning. I don't have all this other garbage in my head, but I'm also really hungry by noon. And he was doing an interview, and he's like, for instance, right now, all I'm thinking about is like, is it close to noon? And then somebody says it's 11:30. It's like, oh, great. By the time we pack up and get back home to my house, I'll be able to eat. And so that was funny. That was neat.
Yeah, that's cool.
Seeing that little moment.
Yeah.
And so, but yeah,
that's cool. That's. Oh, go on.
No. Yeah.
I like that. That's, that could be art, like deciding to change the pattern of your life, right? That's what how you're talking about.
Yeah.
Like that's an art project. I need that because I was just up in my closet and looking at, you see I'm wearing, something different now. I always wear the same thing. And that's like a thing to make it easier to get dressed, or it's also a thing of depression. But I've got so many different outfits and clothes and stuff like that. I was thinking, well, maybe, like I should just get rid of all this. And then I was thinking, but I love all of it. And then I was thinking, maybe I can force myself to wear something different every single day. Like all the different outfits that I have. Like I wore all the different shoes that I had when I was doing radiation, so.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I was just thinking about all the clothes I have, and I always get depressed about that. So, okay, so tell me more. What other art projects did Brian Eno talk about? Or
I mean, he talked about his video stuff from the early 80s, like when he got his first video camera. It was like a weird studio moment where the roadie for Foreigner kind of came into the studio and said, "Does anybody want to buy a video camera?"
wow. And he said,
so it was
yeah.
like obviously
Yeah.
like it was hot, and Brian Eno was like, "Yeah, sure." And that's how he started doing video art, you know. And yeah, I mean it's all interesting.
I've got a couple of things to read here. Gabe Daigle says, I've got some old flyers I'm trying to share.
Great.
We've got Larry says, last fundraising email, I told him, I'll ride with Biden when you bring back smoking cars. He's got my vote, but he could be doing more for smokers is what I'm saying. Gabe Daigle says, new documentary about one of my favorite slowcore bands, Idaho, has pushed a new release. Excited to hear an underappreciated FN, I think that means fucking cool band.
Oh yeah,
Idaho, yeah.
you can just say effin'.
Effin'. Oh, that's sorry. So yeah. So what was the audience like there?
Well, I had a discussion with Tom from Shure and Uncle Jim about people all looking familiar, right? And they're all these old dudes, with glasses.
There are lots of ladies there too.
There were ladies there.
Yeah,
There weren't a lot, but there were ladies there. Yeah.
Good.
So the old dudes had their ladies with them. Definitely had a millennial sitting next to me talking through the whole movie. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, Brian. I was just like, oh my God. Oh, this is the best record ever. Have you heard this record? Like talking to, I just hated, wanted to strangle.
Oh,
them.
I see. Wait, I got.
Oh, that's the other thing that happened is so the thing is that the there was a line. So we got there a half hour before showtime.
Yeah,
and
there was a whole bunch of Neil Young people.
No.
Wanting to
It was
kill
already
you
sold
all.
out. It sold out
Yeah.
before, and the line snaked all the way around the block and then started backtracking back to the theater,
Just
a
like
U
the
shaped.
Star Wars line.
Yeah, it was insane. And a guy came out and said, "Oh, there are technical difficulties." So obviously, and this was So it's just like the obvious, like getting
Guys,
the technology working.
The random number generator is not working again. Just
Totally.
play the backup.
And that's what the director said is so you're going into these great old theaters and then you're hooking up this thing and then you're trying to get all the system working. And
Wait, so it's playing digitally?
Yeah.
Okay, all right, yeah.
Yeah.
Do you remember? Okay, I'm going to read. Tina Nixon says Southeast Michigan, we usually get some cicadas every summer, but zero so far this year here too.
Yeah.
Stephen Williams says the cicada emergence in Downers Grove has been wildly random. Maple on the parkway next door was covered with them a week ago, while ours didn't start emerging en masse until yesterday. And Stephen Williams says the cicada hum is like the Martian death rays in the original War of the Worlds movie.
Yeah, it's insane. I totally
That's
forgotten
probably,
about that.
Okay, so maybe
and I
that's
feel like
where they got it
I
from.
hadn't heard it. I feel like I hadn't heard it since I was a really little kid when there was a big emergence. That's the terrifying one I remember when I was little, where they were just everywhere. But I know it's happened a few times since then, obviously, because I'm old. But that low hum, it's super creepy.
Oh, I hope to hear it.
And then what happened? And I thought this was a Curb Your Enthusiasm or Seinfeld moment, the stop and chat. But apparently, in Curb Your Enthusiasm, the stop and chat's something different. But right at the end before the doors open, and so it was well after showtime. We were waiting out there.
Oh wow!
And then so the old.
It was cool there. Cold
50
out. Was it cold out?
Oh,
there
it was
too?
fine. It wasn't cold.
Okay.
It was pleasant.
Yeah.
50-something hipsters, right? Maybe 60-something. T-shirts, glasses, shaved heads, and then
a lot of super chunk T-shirts.
beards. No, I didn't
Beards.
see any super
Okay.
chunks. No, there wouldn't be. That's not the kind of shirt you would wear.
Wait, what kind of shirt would you wear to the Brian
I don't know.
Eno?
I saw a guy with a Pink Floyd shirt, and I was just like, "Well,
Fuck
that's
you."
weird."
Yeah.
But he was older than me, and I was like,
Oh,
"Okay,
okay,
fine."
all right, fine.
Anyways, two guys had been in front of us, and then two other dudes walk up to them, start talking to them, and then they're like, oh yeah, is that the end of the line over there? And then the guy was like, no, it loops all the way around, and then they just kept talking and talking.
Wait, you didn't have assigned seats?
No, it's general admission at the Music Box. They don't do assigned seats for those. The big theater, I don't think.
So
these guys,
budged.
yeah. So basically, they showed up at 7, which was the start time, right? And everybody had been waiting in line, and they did what I would call a stop and chat. They did a stop and chat, and then okay, we're going in, and then they freaking budged these guys. I was so mad, so mad.
Who were you with?
My brother.
And you said
that
Tom
Tom from Sure was there, but he was second in line. He had gone early, like in the early afternoon.
Yeah.
They had gotten a parking spot.
Yeah.
Gone to lunch, dinner, late, old people dinner, what is it called? The senior special. What did they call it?
Senior special, yeah.
Yeah. He ate then. They were sitting across the street eating, watching, and then as soon as the first person got in line waiting, they ran out, and so he was second in line. We did not go and budge and talk to him, and it was honestly like, if that had happened, I would have been murdered, right?
You would have gotten beat
we would
up.
have all been murdered.
But no, like do Brian Eno fans, would they murder?
I think, maybe like they're more like poisoners, I would say. I'd say they,
All right, so
probably a higher percentage of poisoners within the Eno fan base.
Larry says he knows he's a dinosaur. Artistic freedom, we're all dinosaurs. Artistic freedom before politics, in my humble opinion. Roger's definitely a donkey, but I still spin his stuff. And then there's kind of empty message here. And let me look at the Radio Zero. Okay, Radio Zero doesn't have any more.
So, you don't have to read any empty comments.
Yeah.
I would say that's...
Empty comment.
Empty. I'm trying to think of anything else that happened. Oh, also the sound really hurt my ears, and then I thought it was just
too
me.
Loud?
No, it was weird and piercing, and that's another thing the director said is because there's so much footage, it's like there's still inconsistency, and that's a lot of what he's doing while the movie's playing. He's adjusting levels and stuff. But it was,
wow, he's running live sound.
Yeah, kind of.
Wow.
He said, I'm not really doing any programmatic stuff. I'm really just doing live. Yeah, chat and cut.
That's Chris Schneberger says.
Yeah,
chat
I hate
and cut.
Hate it. And that's what they did, these dudes.
Maybe let's just go talk to our friends, and maybe the people standing right behind them won't notice. They'll forget that we weren't there.
And that's what, and that was the Stanley Milgram thing about lines is also the people directly behind are the caretakers of the line. Like, so when he did that study about lines, it's like, so my brother and I were the caretakers. Nobody else would say anything. You have to, the people directly behind when somebody cuts that chat and cut, whatever it is.
Yeah. It's your responsibility. The people behind
next,
you.
Yeah, the people 2 down, 3 down.
They don't care.
From there. It's not that they don't care. It's that they don't talk. They don't say anything. They don't.
Probably because they don't know.
You need, the responsibility, the caretaker is the person immediately behind in the line.
That.
Yeah. Ugh. And
although
I did mutter, I was talking about stuff kind of loudly as we were walking in.
You motherfuckers. Cheated, budged assholes.
And then everybody was going to see Neil Young out on the island or whatever, what used to be Meg's Field, I guess. There's a concert place out there now. I'm like
laying in bed already, and like I'm starting to look through my Facebook, through my Steve Albini feed, may he rest in peace. It's getting less and less, but it's still, you don't want to forget. But so I'm like kind of going through it, and like I see this, I can't believe I went to this. I went to the Neil Young, I got Neil Young tickets instead of getting Brian Eno documentary tickets, and then I'm like, poor guy. And then, Neil Young canceled. And then like somebody else, like a couple of like posts down, Neil Young canceled 23 minutes before showtime or something like that. It was like, what? Really?
Yeah.
Were people there, and then he just decided not to play? Did the
well, it's
opening
health
band play?
issues, so and he's canceled everything.
Oh.
Like there were 2 more shows, and then they had a break until July, I think. And I was like, I heard a bad review of one of those shows, or I saw one. It just kind of flew by in my feed, my news feed. But now I'm realizing, well, with Neil Young, it depends on what audience you are, because like if Neil Young played everything from Trans, which is his most hated album, I would be
You wouldn't want to go.
I would be so happy, right? And
right.
everybody else would be like, he didn't play Old Man, and so it's like he's got so many different genres or styles or eras, and so they're different audiences, and not everybody accepts all of those. And so, but then I read the review of the New York City show, and it was like, oh, he played
Cinnamon Girl, and Sedan Delivery.
Sedan Delivery.
I'd go see that.
Yeah, exactly.
I love the demo of that.
My. So all the heavy, 3 Powderfinger, freaking Powderfinger from the 3 heavy songs from, or at least 3 heavy songs from Rust Never Sleeps, and it's like, oh, this would have been the show to see. But
so Chris Schneberger is saying, what if a group of 4 planned to go together and 2 of them got there early? Are the other 2 allowed to join their friends in line? So no, not really. You should all be there. But if that has to happen because 2 people have to work late or something like that, then you got to communicate to the people behind you, hey, we actually have 2 more. You're sitting. You were there for an hour, right? Probably in line, right? So the people who get in line right after you tell them, hey, we got 2 more friends. I've done this before. Hey, my husband's coming. Just so you know, there are 2 more people. My husband's coming with kids.
And that happened a little around there, and there were people going into a restaurant and getting empanadas and coming out. And I think that's fine. This was obviously like friends. Hey, they also showed up. They showed up super late.
No, but that's the thing is that it wasn't. So if in that case, Chris, then let the people behind, let the caretakers of the line know that 2 new people are coming. Yeah. Let them know. That's a courtesy. It's a general courtesy.
And the other thing
sound
was,
like that's what happened.
Which I neglected to mention is Tom Shore went in. Second in line, went in with his group of 3, and then
saved seats for you guys.
2 seats for me and Jim, yeah. So it. But
that's less that's bad too. But that's less it doesn't make the line get bigger in front of you. I remember standing in line for a Star Wars, and the line in front of us was just getting bigger and bigger and bigger instead of behind us.
Here's $20. Go see a Star Wars.
Well,
or does she say go see a Star Wars? I think she says go see a Star Wars. Yeah, no, you said a Star Wars, and I love that.
Larry says that good idea. Communication is so important, and that's something I've been told for over the past year.
Communication is important.
That's what I've been told.
And that was one nice idealistic moment where Brian, he was talking about like music as a way of changing the world, and he used to think that, but now he thinks it's just people want community and have a communal experience, and music is a way of facilitating that.
I mean, I remember there were like a bunch of years where you and I were not playing together. We weren't, like, maybe it was like the birth of a child or something like that. Maybe it was when Graham first came out or something. I don't know if that's true though, because I feel like we played a show. But there were a bunch of years, and then we got back into playing again. We were playing again. And I just remember there were a bunch of years where like I did not play music, and when starting to play music, and I talked about this on Radio 02 that the day that we started playing again, I was like, man, it's like your brain is swimming. It's like you hadn't swam for a while, and then like you got to swim. It was really, playing music is really nice.
It's
Everybody
important.
should do it.
Yeah. All right, we've gone long. I've got to edit this, and I got to find a
picture of Brian Eno.
A 30-second clip out of this that I can cut up and put on the TikToks.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow, yeah, you're doing
the
TikToks.
Instagrams.
We're on TikTok.
The gram, as they call it now.
Uh-huh.
Apparently, I was watching a review of this Panasonic camera that I'm not going to buy. That the guy was saying, yeah, and you can post videos directly up to the gram. And I'm like, oh, I don't like that. Insta was bad enough, but the gram.
Insta, yeah.
Yeah.
Finsta. Okay. Thanks for listening.
Have a good week or two.